Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're taking a look at the Sylvaneth, and in particular, the Army of Renown, the Evergreen Hunt. Now in this video, we are going to go through all the special rules for the Evergreen Hunt before having a look at the Thorns of Belthanos box set, which is a great place to get started with this force. Now if that box set is unavailable where you are, you can pick up most of the units on separate, and Belthanos will be available separately later. So if you're watching this video down the line somewhat, you still will be able to grab all the models inside this for your force. Now, with that said, after that, we're then going to look at some other units we can use to expand upon that initial purchase, and then we will finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1,000 points for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own force of the Sylvaneth using the Evergreen Hunt Army of Renown. And so, to begin with, let's look at the battle traits, the special rules for this army. Now, it should be noted, if they are not here, they do not exist within this army. This means that this force does not have the ability to deploy trees on the table like other Sylvaneth forces, which, I guess, if you're starting out with a Sylvaneth army, this could be a great entry point as you're not needing to spend money on those trees. Now, we do have the Abundant Growth rule, which allows us to heal a wound at the beginning of each turn to all Sylvaneth units within 9 inch of overgrown terrain features. And then we have to Honor Kurnoth, where friendly Evergreen Hunt units that do not have the hero keyword will gain the Battle Line keyword. This is pretty cool. The army of the Evergreen Hunt is made up of very specific units of the Sylvaneth. You can only include Belthanos himself, Arch Revenants, Spite Rider Lancers, the Kurnoth Hunters, or you can include the Revenant Seekers. They are the only units you will have available to you. Now, this means that all of them, except obviously Belthanos and indeed those Arch Revenants, will become Battle Line, which is pretty cool, making building your army very easy to do. Now, we then have the big rule for the force, which is Rhythm of the Chase. What this does is, at the start of the game, after deployment, before players have determined who will take the first turn, you pick an enemy unit on the battlefield to be the quarry. If this quarry is destroyed during the battle, at the beginning of your next hero phase, you can then pick a new quarry and essentially keep doing this until you either run out of game time or run out of quarries. Now, this affects the harmonies of the hunt. At the start of each battle round, after the priority roll has been made, each player commanding an Evergreen Hunt army must determine their hunting harmony for that battle round. Starting with the player taking the first turn, a hunting harmony is made up of a number of chords starting at 0. You receive a chord for each of the following. If a friendly Belthanos is on the battlefield, you receive a chord. For each friendly Evergreen Hunt unit that is whole within the same large quarter of the battlefield as the quarry, and then for each quarry you've already destroyed during the battle. Now, you add up the number of chords you received and consult the hunting harmony table, which we've got across here as well, and the effects will apply. Note, all effects on the table are cumulative, so you will gain all of them. If you are, say, at number 6, you gain all the ones before it. Now, chords 0, you will be discordant, there'll be no effect. 1 is simple, you add 1 to run and charge rolls for units within the same large quarter of the battlefield as your quarry. Noting this is sort of what your army is really all about, going and hunting down these quarries and getting better for doing it. Tuneful, add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target an enemy unit whole within the same large quarter as the battlefield as the quarry. This is when they really start to affect the rest of your opponent's force, because now you're not only affecting the quarry, but anything that wants to be near them. Melodic, add 1 to the attacks characteristic for melee weapons used by friendly units while they're within 3 inch of the quarry. This can be really nice because it means your opponent has to make some decisions on how they deploy, because it's not actually just targeting the quarry, it's anything within 3 of them, which is pretty cool. And then number 6 is Mellifluous. I probably butchered that word. I mean, the amount of times I've tried to record that word and not pronounce it right. While a friendly unit is whole within the same large quarter of the battlefield as the quarry, it's eligible to fight in the combat phase within 6 instead of 3, and it can move an extra 3 inch when it piles in. So some pretty cool combat benefits. Nearly all the units you will be taking in this force, except maybe 1, are combat orientated, and the one that you maybe not is probably not the most ideal choice to be taking in the force anyway. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, where to begin with? The Blades of Belthanos box set for me is a great way to get started. This is currently available, but like I said, all these parts will be available separately for you to grab if you're going to watch this down the line, or indeed maybe missed out on the initial launch kit. Now, Belthanos, the first spear of Kurnoth himself, is the giant Kurnoth hunter on the giant mantis-like bug in the center there. Pretty darn cool. He has 14 wounds, 3+ save, and he is a massive force multiplier, but also a pretty darn beastly combat fighter himself. His Kurnoth Glaive is 4 attacks at 2s and 3s, rend 3, damage 3, and then the razor-like mandibles and chitinous legs of his mount, which is his Carnelian Great Spite, has 4 attacks at 4s and 3s, rend 2, and damage 4 at full strength. Now, he does have the ability to fly as well, which is really cool, and Nature Etheric is his first rule. In your hero phase, you pick a terrain feature within 6 inch of this unit and roll a dice. On a 3+, he can pick a scenery rule on the mysterious terrain table and apply it to that piece of terrain. This will replace any other terrain rule it has from the mysterious terrain table, and it'll also be considered overgrown for you as well. Now, he also has a 5+ ward save, which is nice. Friendly Sylvaneth units are wholly within range of the ability of his Kurnothi Warhorn, which at the start of the game is 18 inch, can attempt to charge in a turn in which they run. And the Unending Hunt is a command ability he can use where he can give retreat and charge to a friendly Sylvaneth unit as well. All in all, he's a decent combat fighter in his own right, but he's also going to be a fantastic force multiplier for the units around him. Now, speaking of the units around him, we are going to look at the 2 different types of kits, or 3 different types of units. Technically, I guess 5 different types of units we have if you include all the different variants of Kurnoth Hunters that we have available to us. Now, the first Kurnoth Hunters, we get 3 of them in this box set, and they do have 3 different weapon varieties. Kurnoth Hunters with great bows, as you see pictured here, are probably the worst ones to build out of the kit. You're not going to be as combat effective as they do only have 3 attacks at 3s and 3s, no rend damage 1. They do, however, get a couple of attacks with rend 1 damage 2 at range, and a decent range of 30 inch as well. For me, though, it was all about the greatswords and the Kurnoth size. Whichever one you prefer really is going to be up to you on how you sort of like to play, and maybe definitely against or what you sort of play against on the regular. Greatswords, their big thing is they are going to have 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1 damage 2, but they also have Sundering Strikes with your modified hit roll for an attack made with Kurnoth Greatsword as a 6. The target will suffer 2 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. Now, all Kurnoth Hunters also have the Envoys of the Evergreen rule, where while these units contesting an objective, friendly Sylvaneth units hollow within 6 inch of that objective are treated as being hollow within 6 inch of an overgrown terrain feature as well, which is really cool for all the healing purposes of the army. Trample Underfoot as well allows you to do some mortal wounds in combat on top of your swords. Scythes, on the other hand, they are not going to have the ability to deal mortal wounds. They will have Tanglethorn Thicket though, where if any enemy unit finishes a piling move within 3 inch of them, they will suffer a mortal wound. And then their Kurnoth Scythes are rend -3, damage 2 with 3 attacks at 3s and 3s. So more rend but no mortal wound output. The other kit we get inside this box set is the Revenant Seeker Spite Rider Lancer kit. Now, first of all, let's look at Revenant Seekers. These are the non-crazy Spite Revenant ones. They have their Seeker's Sickle, which are 3 attacks at 4s and 3s, rend 2, damage 2, and a few extra rend 1 attacks coming out of the sharp mandibles of their mounts as well from the Dragon Spites. They have Flyer, obviously, and Harvesters of Lamenteria means once per battle and per turn, at the end of your movement phase, you can pick one friendly Sylvaneth unit within a woods characteristic 5 or less within 12 inches of this unit and roll a dice, and you can return a model to that unit, which is pretty cool. So being able to bring back friendly units with wounds of 5 or less, which is pretty much everything in your army except your characters, is really nice. Throwing with life as well is a rule that will apply to both versions of the Bug Riders. At the end of each phase, if any enemy models were slain by attacks made with them, you can heal all wounds allocated to the unit. Now, the other version of the unit we have are the Spite Rider Lancers. They're not going to have as much damage as the unit, but they do have a higher rend of rend -2, damage 1, and 4 attacks. Their big thing is to send the Spite Riders. This will give them the strike first rule in a turn in which they charge, which is pretty cool when you consider everything we're going to be able to do with this force. Now, looking at where to go next, obviously there is not a lot of options unit-wise in what you want to do. So, Kurnoth Hunters, Spike Rider Lancers, Revenant Seekers, you could definitely have a look at all of them and start to include more of these types of units within your force. Kurnoth Hunters, definitely, I think, having unit of swords and size is a great way to have some good versatility within your force, and indeed, Spike Rider Lancer and Revenant Seeker units, the units will do better against different things. Now, we then have one other option we don't get in that initial box set there to talk about, and that is the Arch Revenant. This is another character model we're going to have available, 6 wounds, 4+ save, and a 12-inch move with fly, which is really nice. The Revenant's Glaive is 4 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 2, damage 1, and the Crescent Shield is pretty cool. What this does at the start of the combat phase, you can say if these units are adopting a defensive or aggressive stance. Adopting a defensive stance will give you a ward of 4+, or adopting an aggressive stance, you get +1 attacks to your Glaive. Champion of Kurnoth also means you can add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Kurnoth Hunters hold within 12 inches of this unit, which is nice. And you have a command ability to give +1 attack to a friendly Sylvaneth unit nearby as well with the model. And so, finally, here we have our sample army list. Pretty simple here, really. Now, we've obviously gone Mortal Realm of Ghyran, and we have gone with the Grand Strategy Ballad of Triumph. This means we're going to have to kill 4 of our opponent's quarries, which, picking them right, should be able to be done. Quarries, while it might first seem that you want to pick your opponent's best units, you're actually wanting to gain the benefits of them, so picking weaker quarries and easily targeted units is generally the best way to go. Now, leading the army, we have Belthanos, because why would we not? The army is literally all about him. We then have 3 Kurnoth Hunters with great swords and 3 of each Spike Rider Lancers and Revenant Seekers, which will become our battle line units. And this is all wrapped up in a battle regiment for a 1-drop force, which is probably incredibly important at this point to give us the option of whether we're going to go first or second in the first battle round. A perfect 1,000 points on the nose with 59 wounds and a 1-drop force as mentioned. This is a fun and really easy to collect Sylvaneth force to get you started in the game nice and quickly. If you've got some ideas though on how you'd build up your first army of the Evergreen hunt, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description, and also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. That can be either by purchasing some merch through our Ko-fi or Teespring stores, or by supporting the channel on Patreon and YouTube members. All of these are linked in the video's description, and as a special thank you to our Patreon and YouTube members who are the lifeblood of our channel, we'd like to give them a special shout out. So thank you to our Patrons, Rob B, Broken Chef, Andy C, Grimms Gold, Colorblind Magic, Benjamin Suarez, James Cater, Mark Harvey, Domir, Average Wargamer, Cure Dynamic, Andrew Bowen, Outer and Shot First, Kenny Lau, and Soren, and to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, James Tillman, Disco, John Castle, and Gargamel196. Thank you all so much for helping support the channel and allowing us to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you so much once again. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.